Oh,
Feeling
yeah.
okay? Yeah.
Oh, gosh, come on. Great night's sleep here at
You
Borgata.
stayed up past your bedtime, though.
I don't really have a bedtime. I can go to bed at 8:30.
Yeah.
Wake up at 3. I can go to bed at 2:30. Wake up at 8.
Oh, you're like that?
I'm like that. It's the minor league life. The minor league life.
No routine lifestyle.
Yeah. Just you catch up on some sleep later.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep when you die.
Todd Father, you are nailing bets as usual, but your poker playing was not as up to speed, nor was any of ours besides Dellin Betances, who's going to join us in about 15 minutes. Dellin's on another planet right now. But how was the experience, though? Did you have fun?
It was good. I had a lot of fun. I haven't played poker in a long time, like in serious ways. And, yeah, I was a little sluggish. I was a little behind the 8 ball. These guys are good, man. Guys and ladies, I should say. They know how to play. They can read you a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to start getting after it a little more. And, the Borgata and BetMGM, if they keep doing it, I'm going to start getting better and better. And I was there longer than Kratz, so that's all that really matters at the end of the day, because he's got a little crystal to show off his stuff. So I'm climbing the ranks.
That's a good point. Just outlast Kratz. I was surprised, too, because you're an aggressive player, and sometimes that can result in an early exit.
It wasn't even my aggression. It was my lack of any cards. Finally, like I would have played aggressive. Like, I wish that was the reason
Just
why.
didn't get anything. And it goes quick because the blinds raise.
It was
the
bounty.
I did too. It was quicker. So we had a good time. We're going to talk more about it in about 15 minutes with Dellin Betances. But yes, we are here at Borgata. Kratz and I, Todd Father, in the beautiful studio that he's at all times. All right, let's get into a little charge and mound action because we had a good one last night.
Charging the mound.
Yanks walk-off in game 1 of the series against the Red Sox. As Kratz said, the Red Sox are cooked already. Although, actually, Todd Father was the one that went against you, didn't he? And say, don't say cooked, say like a little warm on the fire, but not completely boiling.
I said there's always a chance. I said this is the biggest series. They got 3 more with the Yankees, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a 4-game piece.
They got to win all 3 of these or sayonara. That's for me. He was playing way over too. When he hit the ball, I'm like, don't go to third. And I saw him like, oh my God, he was playing. Actually, his foot was on the line where you're supposed to be, where second base is. Trevor Story. And you think every time he dives, you're like, oh my God, no. And this is what they're doing. Little walk-off Johnson took the under in this. You feel things sometimes. The first game of series, it's a rivalry game. A lot of implications. Guys, get a little tighter. And fortunate for the Yankees, they came out a victor. It's not how you win sometimes. And I said this when I work with them, find a way to win these ugly games. And they did. It doesn't matter how you win. It just matters if you win. Make it ugly. Who cares?
We should have also talked about the Nestor prove-it start.
He said he said it with his chest, and then he said it with his arm too.
I'm starting.
Yeah.
9 Ks.
I'm a starter.
That's a lot for him.
That's a lot, especially against. I take more when you're playing the team that you're playing all the time. I get it, rivalry, but they're in your division. They know Nestor. Nestor knows them.
Mm-hmm.
Come out after being pissed that he said he was going to do it for the team, but being pissed the fact that he's piggybacking with Clark Schmidt, came out and was like, piggyback that.
Yeah.
6-man rotation, that.
I agree. Yeah. So that was impressive. And then Soto gets his first walk-off as a Yank. Todd Father. That was fun for him.
Yeah, that was definitely fun. I mean, it just seemed once they got basically 3 up, 3 down with a runner on second base, Canely and I think Holmes came in, if I'm not mistaken. Was I wrong on that?
Holmes pitched. What?
Yeah. Did he come in at the end? Canely got the first out, and then Holmes came in, if I'm not mistaken. And good for him,
Tommy
too.
got 4 outs. Because Tommy got 4 outs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was good. Everybody talk about the bullpen. Now, all of a sudden, 1 runs. They only give up 2 runs. And then I think it started when Cortez came in against the Cubs, and it was like, you know what? I'll get this bullpen back to where it needs to be, and they've looked pretty darn good right now so far. I know it's been 3 games, but still, you got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, and our guy Derek, make sure you check out Pinstripe Territory, bottom corner of the screen. You can smack that QR code to follow the show, the Yanks team show in the FT network. But our guy Derek, who hosts the show, said Nestor was 95 plus last night, touching 95 plus, and we're not sure exactly on where that ranks for the year, but definitely he said looked like he was up a few ticks from usual, a couple ticks. So
I don't know where that ranks, but it shows
he was pumping heat.
It shows that you can get the Red Sox out with some fastballs. Not that there's playoff implications of that.
Nope. Not going to matter. But for the Yankees, the playoffs matters. So let's show that Jack Curry tweet about their bullpen. If the Yankees don't declare a specific reliever as their closer for the postseason, Aaron Boone said he'd be okay with continuing to mix and match in October. He said he feels the Yankees have, quote, 5 or 6 guys who can get the last 3 outs. And then, unquote, Weaver is the de facto closer for now. So stay tuned, according to Curry. So we good with that? Just a little mix match postseason action?
What? I'll ask this to Todd, and then I'll give you my answer. Do you care if you are facing a team and they don't have a de facto closer, or is there like, okay, I know this guy's coming in the 9th?
No, I would, it depends on who it is, but I would like to know who's usually coming in. So I think this might trick a couple teams here and there, honestly, with who they have, with Canely to Cousins to Holmes to Weaver to Hill. I mean, you got it all there. And Hill looked unbelievable. That ball rises on some guys. He made Rafael Devers look silly out there yesterday, and it just looks like it's coming in at 100 miles an hour. So I know I'm missing a couple guys off of that, but they have some guys that can do it. And I think this helps the Yankees too, kind of like a little relief, like, all right, maybe I'll be the guy. The excitement is back a little bit in the bullpen. Everybody's ready to go. So it's not always relying on Clay Holmes. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree with you. But if I'm Aaron Boone, I want to win a World Series. This team is built for that. This is what they want to do. And if I'm facing a team, let's say just because they just faced the Red Sox, let's say you're facing the Red Sox and the 9th inning is going to be Devers, O'Neill, and then Duran, or, that's the 3 guys you're going to face. I don't care if I named Weaver the closer. I don't care if Holmes has 6 straight appearances where he gets saves to end the season here. Tim Hill's coming in. He showed me what he had last night and made him exactly what Frazier said. They look silly. So you get your outs where you can get your outs. Yes, the 9th inning outs, everything in the playoffs, it's pumping, the juice is flowing. If you don't have a closer, it's okay. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, it's okay. You want to put your team in the best chance as 26 guys to beat the snot out of the other team.
Does that happen often where there's no legit 9th inning dude?
For playoff teams?
For World Series winning teams.
Who was the closer last year for the Rangers?
Leclerc.
Going into the playoffs, who was the closer?
Wasn't it Leclerc?
No.
They were searching.
But
it ended up being Leclerc.
And obviously Sabors was sick, but
Sabors, he stepped up. Guys were stepping up, but the only reason Leclerc was because his first outing, he ended up getting the last out of the 8th inning and then coming in and finishing the 9th. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't – I don't know.
Okay.
I just think I don't think it's a necessary piece to say we got a closer. You have to have 3 to 4 pieces in your bullpen unless you have just a stud rotation. And you saw the Rangers. They leaned on Monty. They leaned on Scherzer. They leaned on Eovaldi more than even the Phillies, who had Ranger Suarez, who was unbelievable. They banged him in the 4th inning. Mm-hmm. He threw 4, and they were like, we're going to their vaunted bullpen, and it pushed them to where they got to.
Yeah, for me, it's circle of trust in the playoffs. Who do you trust in big spots?
Go with the hot hand.
Like?
Go with the hot hand.
Like Todd says, what have you done for me lately?
Yep, that's fair. Okay, so in the American League yesterday, the Minnesota Twins had themselves a day. They didn't play, but they had a great day. They kicked back. They took a day off.
Probably
they
some
said,
golf.
Boston, you're out. Yeah, maybe start the day with some golf.
Yeah. Give up some strokes and gain some some games.
And there were day games, night games, all kinds of games that were in their favor. So Boston at night, see ya. Detroit playing Colorado, need to sweep them. Nope.
And they were winning. They were winning 2-1, and they blew that.
They blew that game.
So was Seattle.
Seattle. We'll get to hit them in just a sec, too. Yeah, we'll hit there. And then Cleveland loses, which is not as big a deal. I don't think they're going to catch them. But the Twins get nice schedule watching in their favor yesterday.
Great off day.
Yes, it's a great off day.
Probably had a nice meal.
Scoreboard watching. That's the word I was looking for. But yes. And we'll finish with this because Kumar Rocker made his debut, and then deGrom's actually starting tonight for Texas in that series against Seattle, and then Scherzer tomorrow. So it's just like a cool. That's what we talk about. I want to see the marquee where the starting pitchers matter to me, and that's what Major League Baseball is trying to get back to. So this is a good example of it. Here's some highlights from Kumar Rocker, who has a slider that our Baseball America experts called already one of the best in baseball, the fastball slider combo. Yeah, that played. I know the Mariners striking out a little bit less. Not against Kumar Rocker. 7 punches in 4.
Talk about an over, Todd. Woof. Me and your boy here, we hit that over hard.
6.5.
Hey,
Nah, we're good.
give
It kept
credit to
rising.
Scott,
It opened
too.
up 4.5.
I give credit to Scott, man, because I said he might get hit his first time around. He said, no way. Hey, you got me, Scott. You got me on that one. So very good call by you. You see it well. And a good call by Kumar, man. He looked really good, and he looked like he belonged there. And I think that's the biggest step for anybody when they get called up. Look like you belong, especially a pitcher, because a hitter might take a little more time. But when you're a pitcher, that first or second or third outing, look like you belong, and this guy looks like he's been there for a while.
Todd, you ever face Brad Lidge, or was he out of the game before you were kind of solidified?
I don't remember. Actually,
Catch
I don't
him at
remember.
the end? Okay.
It would have had to have been at the end.
That's almost what, like, metrically, and visually, when you watch Kumar Rocker's slider, he has the slider that instead of going side to side, or, a little baby cutter, big cutter, whatever it is, it almost is like a 12-6 curveball. It's like 11-7.
There's a name for that now.
It's pretty gross.
You know what it is?
Oh, yeah. It's like the
death ball.
Yes.
He's got a death ball slider.
It almost looks like
baby curve.
It almost looks like baby curve.
It's a baby curve, isn't it?
It's a baby curve.
Yeah.
But it comes out, it has the dot like a slider, so you think it's going to go this way, and it actually just goes down.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking some silly. I'm intrigued by his fastball because it doesn't have his four-seamer. He got a strikeout with it.
I'm so glad you said this.
Because it doesn't have a lot of spin, which creates that late life.
Mm-hmm.
But his plate, listen to this one. Todd, you're a nerd. His plate velocity is one of the highest plate velocities for a fastball in baseball. Just in the, I'm not sure how many he threw. I should have looked how many he threw yesterday. Meaning the ball is getting on you.
Yes. Well, remember there was a lot of talk about Paul Skeens' fastball
being dead zone fastball.
Yeah.
It has not been dead zone.
I mean, if they're calling it that, then that's got to turn into a good thing. That's got to turn into a good word if what he's doing is dead zone.
Dead zone for hitters.
Because it's working. Exactly. So, yeah, I don't think you have to worry about Kumar Rocker's fastball slider combination. The biggest thing is just keeping him healthy.
Started out shaky. First two batters on, you're like, oh, boy.
Yep.
Welcome to the bigs. That's what Todd was saying. Top Father was like, hey, maybe there's a problem here, just because you get the first start jitters.
First pitch, base hit.
Remember Mike Leake? He had bases loaded, got out of it the first time he ever faced anybody. So, yeah, definitely.
Really?
Pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
All right, we'll swing back in a moment with Dellin Betances, the big man, who can talk to us a little bit about
closing.
Oh, exactly. Wow, perfect timing.
He's in the book.
That's right.
Whoops.
Ooh.
We'll let him know.
Let's run it. You ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
Okay. What do you do if you have congestion from sinuses, allergies, or a cold? Todd Father, do you know the magic word?
What you need Navage, don't you?
That's right. That's the word.
Yeah.
Bottom of the screen.
Have we gotten Todd on Navage yet?
Todd?
No.
Todd is.
Todd is.
I
Oh,
need
it's
it.
on the way. It's on the way. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so tell
He
him what
needs it.
he's going to experience.
So I mean, the whole time I've been talking about like how good it is for me and how much I love it.
Yeah.
Guess who didn't bring his Navage
Oh,
down
no.
to AC Vegas here, down to the Borgata?
You
This
sound
guy.
different.
Tell me.
You do.
See?
You
now
sound different.
Now you hear it.
Wow.
I didn't bring it, so that means
I'm not good at
get,
paying attention to things. Like I don't
Like why
pick
would
up on things
why
like
would
that.
he sound different? Why is he not as
He's my
happy?
friend. I'm not judging his voice, but then I'm like, wait, now I'm listening to his voice, and
I can feel it.
It's
I
a
can
little bit
feel
more
it.
nasally today.
It sucks.
Do you agree, Todd?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Just a little bit here.
Yeah,
He
no,
doesn't know.
100%.
He doesn't pay
nose,
attention.
the whole look is not good.
He doesn't
But-
even know. He doesn't even know how to spell my name. How can he tell if I'm a little more nasally? But I
I do
feel
it on
a
difference.
difference.
I do it on purpose.
All right, so for everyone to know, it can work as fast as 30 seconds when you get your Navage experience going. Nasal cleaner to clear out the congestion. If you got snoring problems, this definitely helps a ton. It's drug-free. It uses 99.9% pure saline salt pods, no medicinal side effects. And to get your Navage starter pack, including a nose cleaner with batteries included, 30 original salt pods, everything you need to get started, plus cleaning kit as a free gift with your order, you go to Navage.com/foul and use promo code foul. Again, that's Navage, free cleaning kit, full product details, the whole deal. You get that all at navage.com/FOUL, where you can use that promo code foul once you're there. We'll be right back with Dellin Betances. Here we go. We're back with former Yankees closer Dellin Betances joining us right now, and poker expert, borderline poker pro or future poker pro, whatever you want to say.
After he takes down this 1.5 guaranteed today.
Yeah, we're destined for the main event today. I'm excited. Poker pro, I love the way that sounds.
It sounds good, right?
It's the next step for him.
You want to say hi to your boy,
Todd?
Todd Father?
What's up, big dog?
Come on, man. Give me some credit for last night.
Hey, listen, bro, easy now. The tone needs to come down a little bit. I'll give you credit, but the tone just a little bit, all right, big dog? I saw you yesterday. I gave you credit, but easy with the tone. You know how that goes.
This is a top 5 finisher yesterday.
Yeah, out of like 200 some
solid.
people.
Yeah,
no, that's
Todd.
solid. That's really
Todd.
really
Just
good.
ask him tell him what you wanted to tell him. Just tell him what you want to tell him.
That he's in the book. I mean, I don't know. What do you want me to tell him?
Oh yes, you got me, bro. I don't know how you hit that ball. I'm not gonna.
I don't either.
We got
I don't
replay
either,
later
bro.
on or something. That ball was up, and I'm like,
and
you hooked it right around the pole. He definitely got me. But I probably got you a couple times. I struck you out a couple times. I mean, I know we don't talk about that as a hitter.
What? Scotty, you got to look it up, man.
All right, we'll check it out.
We're gonna
check it out.
We're gonna look.
And hey, you know what? If we're talking about look at me times, remember that walk off I got against you?
Walk.
Wait, what?
During the COVID season?
Did you?
Guess who came up? Runner on first and third.
Seriously? Bro, I don't remember.
I squared the bunt. I squared the bunt.
Oh, walk-off. Come on, you got to be kidding me with that. Why would you do that, bro?
Because
why would you try to bunt?
You think I'm trying to get a hit off you?
I know,
no
but
shot.
That's when I was already a little banged up. You could have tried to swing and get a hit, bro.
Shoot.
You're right.
You tried to bunt. I think I threw a wild pitch.
Right.
You threw it right because I squared and you were like,
what the hell is going on? Yeah, you guys definitely got me there.
Wow,
that's why we had you
trolls.
on. That's it. Thanks for coming, D.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Great segment. Awesome. This was great. All right, so let's look back for a moment, though. First off, are you paying attention to current Yankees ball, or do you kind of separate yourself a little? Like, do you watch Yanks? You watch?
Yeah, I watch all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
So
what do you think about the team this year?
I love the team. Obviously, there's been a lot of ups and downs. We started off hot to start the year, and then try to figure ourselves out. But I think we've been playing, pretty decent. As bad as it sounds like, I know a lot of the fans are kind of upset of how they've been playing lately, but they're like your they probably got the best record in the American League, if not second best, right?
I mean, they're leading the division too. It's like, what do you want? You're going to win the division heading into the playoffs. I think some fans want a little more in the bullpen, though. I mean, they wanted them to pick up a piece or two, and they didn't get that big name that, say, the Padres brought in or the Phillies brought in.
Yeah, no, actually, to be honest with you, that's something that I hope they got in the trade deadline. Obviously, I think they got the pitcher from the Cubs, right?
Yep.
But I was hoping they got a couple back end pieces. But you know what? We had a couple guys come back from the injury list, and I think now they're kind of finding a way to piece it together. Obviously, they don't have a set closer, but I think they find the best guy for depending on the lanes they have. And I like the way some of those guys been throwing the ball, like Weaver, Tommy Kaden. They've been great all year. Cousins has a nasty breaking ball. He's been good.
Love him.
So I think they can piece it together and find a way to win.
Yeah, and along those lines, Dellin, tell everybody, about being a reliever, about being a closer, how hard it is, and understanding that every time you go out, it's going to be blown up. It's your fault if you don't win the game. A 1-0 game, all of a sudden you give up the 2 runs. It's actually, it's your fault, they say. So talk to us a little about how hard it is and how difficult it is going out there and trying to get 3 outs to win a ball game.
Man, like the last 3 outs are the hardest. I feel like, like you said, like we're kind of like field goal kickers. If we mess up, you're definitely gonna hear from it. But I enjoy pitching in any situation. But the 3 outs, this is it. Is whether you're gonna shake hands after the game or you're going home with your head up your behind. But obviously. I enjoy it. Obviously, in the Yankees, the atmosphere I feel like brings the best out of me. But it's not an easy task. Obviously, there's a small group of guys that do it at an elite level, and you got to cherish those guys, and those are sometimes the better teams.
But what's the you said, because you've already hit on they need the guys in their lanes, and then you just said I love that last 3 outs. What's different? Can you explain what is different about the last 3 outs? Because you were dominant. If people that are watching don't remember the numbers that Dellin had, you better ask somebody. It is unbelievable. You were in both roles.
Yeah.
You were closing. You were 8th inning guy. What is different about the last 3 outs? Would you rather, if you're the closer, because we brought that scenario up, Tim Hill is out there and he's nasty against lefties, nasty against Devers. If you're the guy who's the, quote, closer, are you like, no, I want Devers? Not saying you can't get him, saying, there's a better lane for you to get 3 outs for this team. Maybe it's in the 8th inning.
I think once it comes to postseason, unless you have a lockdown closer, that's the best format. You find the guys that are suited for the best lanes. You try to trust them and go in that situation. And I think that's where the Yankees are at right now. But if you have a Class A, you want that guy to just give me the last 6 outs. You know what I'm saying? But
last 6 outs, that's different.
Yeah.
But if let's say you go into the 8th inning and it's 3-4-5, 1-run game, you want Class A, or even let's go to the 7th inning. It's 1, 2, 3. Wouldn't you want Class A throwing the 7th inning and the 8th inning, and then give somebody else?
I mean,
the 9th,
I see what you're
or
saying.
Not like that.
Class A, I'm saving him for the back. This guy's been unbelievable. If you compare his numbers early in his career, you can kind of put him in that Mariano range. Obviously, Mariano won a lot of World Series early, but he's unique, right? There's maybe 2 or 3 guys in the whole league that can do that. So I don't mind saving him for the last 4 or 5 outs, because those are the hardest. For me, the hardest outs are the last 3 outs, and he does it at the adrenaline is more it's just everybody's waiting for that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to focus in that point of the game. Your focus got to be at a different level. So I feel like having a guy like Class A, he's unique. But when you have to piece it together, I also like that. And like you said, that's where the Yankees are at right now. And they have guys that can fit in lanes and get outs. And I think they can piece wins together.
So you say they have a good bullpen, but maybe not the solidified closer, the Yankees. Because I like their bullpen. And I'm with you. I love Cousins. I think Canely and Cousins are their biggest outgetters. Not to take anything away from Luke. Weaver's been awesome.
Weaver's been unbelievable, to be honest with you. He's been one of the most consistent guys. I actually had the chance to talk to him a couple of days ago, and he fixed his four seam. You know, he had like a 14-inch vert. Now it's at like 20, and that's made a huge difference.
Wow.
And then he was able to adjust his changeup too as well. But yes, the Yankees don't have a closer. Obviously, they took Clay Holmes out of that role. But I think, have you seen the last 4 or 5 games, the way they're putting their pieces together is what they're going to do in the playoffs. And I like a guy like Clark Smith. If he's not one of the starters in those first 4 games, he's a guy that can bridge that gap to the next guy, right? Like he can come in the middle innings, and he's done it before, and he has great stuff.
Lance McCullers, like when the Astros beat us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Kratzy. Anyway, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you, because everybody always asks me, dude, what's it like playing for the Yankees? And I can't figure out the answer. I just say every time you step into that clubhouse, there's an expectation that you got to be on the highest level every time you come in. Can you give me an answer of what it's like being a New York Yankee and playing for the Yankees, especially growing up a couple miles away from the stadium and growing up a Yankee fan?
For me, it was surreal. I mean, it's like every kid's dream, you know, getting a chance to not only play at the big league level, but play for a team that you root for your whole early adult life. So having a chance to play with guys that I looked up to, like Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, you know, that was kind of surreal feeling. But when you put the pinstripes, it's definitely an aura about it. Like you just feel different, and you're expected to win every year. You come in with that expectation. So once you in that limelight, the fans bring the best from you. Yeah, you know, they'll let you have it if you don't have your best stuff. So I enjoy that. So, you know, I enjoy that pressure, and that was my better years, obviously, and I wouldn't change anything from it.
Yeah, everybody who's listening needs to like kind of hear how Dell talks about the Yankees, says we, like he's still, you can hear like you're still like a fan. You like as a kid, it's there. As a player, you played. Like, what is your role now? What are you doing right now? Like player branding stuff and all the different stuff since you decided you're not going to throw anymore. Wild pitches to me with runners on third.
You're still gonna talk about that the whole time, huh?
You gotta ride that,
Did
yeah.
I pitch against you and like in a regular format where I probably struck you out.
Dog, like that's not even that. Don't even like you have like a billion strikeouts in your career.
I know, but hey, we're right here, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'll look it up while you tell us about your player branding and everything you're doing right now.
So the right now I'm doing Commissioner's Ambassador Program, which was 2 years ago. So I do stuff there where, you know, we tend to travel to some of the bigger like international events. Like this year I went to London, last year as well. Some guys went to Korea. So we get to continue to stay involved, promote the game of baseball, which we love. And, this year I started doing a fellowship program. So I go to the league office 3 days a week. My first 8 weeks, I spent some time with the player development side, which I got to spend some time with some kids from the inner city. I think there were like 140 kids that were invited to Florida, to Vero Beach, and they picked like 44. The best 44 go to play at Truist Park, and I got to spend some time helping coach there for a couple of days, and you know I'm staying involved as much as I can, and you know I love to give back as much as I can. This is what I love doing.
Is it RBI? Is it through the RBI program, or is it kind of like that?
They have something. So the player development side, Tony Regan is in charge of that group.
Okay.
So he had RBI is in that, but this was like a tournament that they've hosted the last few years, and they get a group of kids from the inner cities. They come to this thing. They compete. They pick the best 44, take them to Truist Park, and they get a chance to play like at a mini all-star game.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was the coolest thing that you learned during the fellowship part, like that you didn't know maybe about how the whole machine works with Major League Baseball as a business?
You know, what's been fun for me is just being a part of some of the meetings, right? Like I can share some of the players' perspective on things that I feel like could work for these players or things that might not work. And they take everything in, which is great. just seeing some of the stuff on the player development side, all these tournaments that they host for these kids in the inner city, that's where I grew up in the inner city, and I didn't have that opportunity. So to see what they're doing to kind of like help that area out, it's been tremendous to see and just be a part of it.
But how much would it have changed your career?
What? Oh,
if you
tremendously.
Like how would it have changed your career if you would have had this same fellowship program?
Well, the fellowship program, or just the program that they're doing with Tony Regan?
The program that they're doing with.
So basically, think about like you coming up as a kid and you having a chance to be in the same room as Ken Griffey Sr. or Eric Davis and a bunch of veterans. Like, growing up here in the inner city, I didn't meet a big leaguer until I got drafted. So just the preparation, like the way they do the workouts, is basically built like a minor league pro ball setting. So if I had that opportunity, I would have been a lot better at a younger age,
earlier,
or more prepared, right? Like I was super raw as when I signed, and it took me long to get to the big leagues just because I didn't know some of these details that these guys are providing to these kids.
Yeah, I mean, long-ish. I mean, you were 23.
Yeah, but,
right when you.
Yeah,
but you think
but look at him. I'll let you answer it. Like a guy like this and what he did once he made the big leagues.
Yeah,
that transition into the minor leagues. Todd might be able to tell you. I mean, Todd went to Rutgers. Like they weren't running minor league, workouts. They weren't running a 162-day. Like I don't know how many big leaguers you knew before. I knew one, and it was old Jamie Moyer. And I didn't even really know him. I knew his dad. Like, that was it. So, to me, I agree with you in a different sense. That transition in can speed up that process.
I mean, tremendously.
Yep.
I'm right with you. It's like seeing some, like I said, being there in Florida, spending like 4 or 5 days, and just seeing some of these kids kind of, like the way they kind of like just they're in awe seeing some of these guys. And there's stuff that you learn at that age that, you wish. I mean, obviously things worked out, but like I enjoy that. Giving back is always a good thing.
Last one then. What's one thing that you would do if they're like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, or give us an idea. What's something that you want to see? It could be super big, super small. It could be a rule. It could be business. It could be anything. Is there one thing that you've thought about or that you've talked about that you'd like to see done differently or added?
Damn, that's actually a good one. Let me see.
Something like when you watch a game that you're frustrated about, right? Like obviously pace of play was a big deal for a long time, but it seems like it's gotten pretty cleaned up.
I mean I think some of the rules that have changed have like helped the product of baseball, like obviously speeding the game up. I know at first some of the guys were a little like, hey, but they love it. Like the chance to have to play games in 2 hours and 40 minutes. I mean, that's amazing.
You want a challenge system then?
A challenge system. I do
for
like
balls and strikes.
I do like the one. The hitter.
I think that's going to be fun.
That one is good.
Yeah.
The just complete automated strike zone, I don't like that. But if you can do that, like where the hitter has a chance, maybe you keep the challenge at a minimum of like maybe 2 per game, and if you win, you keep that challenge. But I like that. You just can't give the pitcher the chance to challenge because he's going to try to challenge some stuff.
That's what you got to let the pitcher challenge.
No, we'll mess that up.
Why you guys will get frustrated?
Challenge this right now. That's not even close.
Catcher's like,
we let you take charge.
Okay.
If it was the Yanks now, they'd be like, all right, cool. You just wasted them all. And Judge and Soto are sitting here like, cool, thanks, guys.
Soto's like, oh, I don't know the strike zone.
Yeah, exactly. I only have an 800 on base percentage. No big deal.
Or you'll get a guy like Brett Garner challenging the first pitch. Bro, like, what's first pitch of the game? Like, what are we doing, bro?
What would you tell Brett if he challenged the first pitch of the game?
Oh, we giving him some heat for sure. What do you think, Todd?
Dude, if Brett Gardner's just challenging his whole at bat or challenging first pitch of a game leading off, you saying, what would you do?
Like, yo, dude, what are we doing here? Like, come on,
something he would do.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And he still wouldn't believe it was a ball or strike.
Exactly.
He'd still argue about it even after the challenge system shows
computer's wrong.
It's a computer's wrong.
Smash it.
This is why breaking, all raging out.
Amazing.
Right, so last thing, comment I said about how legit you were. You know how many career strikeouts you had? And this is for people who don't know Dellin Betances' numbers.
Something. Yeah, I don't really check my numbers even after I stop playing. I
Yeah.
don't know.
They're not going to
honestly.
change.
Yeah, they're not changing.
They're not
anymore. Trust
changing.
me, I haven't thrown
It's
the
a good
ball
number.
since I stopped playing, so they're not changing.
Just focus it on closers and bullpen guys right now. He had 5 straight seasons of over 100 strikeouts
I think this
coming out of the bullpen.
this stat will do it better. 394 in the third inning, so almost 400 innings pitched in the majors. 633 strikeouts for the 4-time All-Star.
14.4 strikeouts per 9. So I say
good.
that to say, you never struck me out, dog. Like, don't even
Was
try.
that-
Don't
that
even
was
try
only-
to say
What
that
was the
only
line?
one at bat. So
Only time.
Why would you try to bunt?
because
I wasn't even.
I knew how
throwing
many
as hard.
strikeouts
You
you
doesn't
had.
want to be in
That's
your book.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
But you got Todd twice.
My ball was cutting at that point.
but you got Todd twice.
I
Yeah, he
did
got
get
me
Todd.
twice.
You did.
He got but that home run. You take that, right?
2 for 4. What's the score? That's what Todd used to say.
Two for is
2
that
for
what he-
4.
Yeah.
Damn,
I never
Todd. Yo,
said
Todd, man, you got lucky on me. I tell you what, man. I can't believe
Hey,
it.
that'll
what,
never
man.
change
He
either.
closed his eyes to hit that home run. We got to show the replay of that. At some point,
I know.
you hit
It
that
was-
ball.
We'll find it.
I'm like, how the heck did this happen?
Yep.
And
We'll
you
find
had
it.
the
Yeah.
We'll
crowd-
find
you
it.
probably had 150 people in there.
Yeah.
Had
Yeah,
all
well,
he
well,
was playing
let's go,
for free.
let's
He was playing for free. Ain't nobody in the stands.
Well, good luck today. All right. Great to
Thank
see you, dude.
Thank you, guys.
Talk
Thank
some
you, guys.
smack to everyone. Tell them you got
hell
top
yeah.
5 last night.
Thank you
All
guys
right.
for having me on the show.
Yeah, of
I
course.
love-
Thanks
I
for
love what you
coming
guys
here.
do, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This was great. Dellin
Win it,
Betances is with
win it,
us. He's
win
going to
it.
go hop into the poker tournament here, and we'll be right back on FT.
I want to talk about the Braves staff in general, and specifically Ronaldo Lopez. Where does he fit in here? If you're looking at it now, the Braves are tied with the Mets, so no longer can you sit there and go, "Oh well, we got to rest Ronaldo Lopez for the rest of the season." Do you see it holding up? And do you see it holding up because he needs to throw for this team for them to make the playoffs?
He needs to throw for this team to make the playoffs. He absolutely does. Everybody's got to come through. I mean, he's been fantastic. Like, I did not agree with them putting him as a starter this season. I thought he was a bullpen piece. Anthopoulos said he thought he'd get like a 3.80 ERA out of him. Reynaldo Lopez, I talked to him at the All-Star game. He's like, I didn't expect this. And he's been a stud. Like, dude has been absolutely incredible, and you've got to rely on him if you're the Braves. And I also think Schwellenbach is a really big surprise for them. Dude looks legit, and I would trust him in a big game as well.
All right, let's see this shirt that I'm going to get a proceeds of.
Yeah, right. That's good.
This is so I have noticed that Chris Sale just looks like the meanest guy on the bump. And I talked to him at the All-Star game. I'm like, dude, you have what I call resting pitch face. And he thought that was hilarious. So he's like, if you put that on a shirt, I will wear it. And Chris Sale is a man of his word.
That looks good.
Sometimes.
No.
Just because he's delayed, just because he doesn't come on the show right away when you call him, he's not at your beck and call, AJ.
No, but I mean, he's good about it. But I do love that shirt. I do
is a
love
good
that
shirt.
shirt. The only way that would make it better is if you put his face on it instead of
We-
like the cartoon ball.
Literally, we're going to do that. And then we didn't want to have to deal with the Players Association approval and all that stuff. It was going to delay it. And we wanted to get it out there as soon as possible. I agree with you, though. His face is menacing when you see it.
Yeah. I'll take
So
double.
where can
X.
we get it? Yeah,
You get it RotoWare.
RotoWare.
RotoWare,
Okay.
yep.
RotoWare does the baseballs the best shirts too, right?
They do. Yep. And I worked
Yeah.
on that with them too. I was like, we got to do something for Sarah. We get along very well. When I do joint stuff with him all the time. He actually came up with the original Pitching Ninja logo too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, great
Super
dude.
talent.
I know some of you look forward to Hot Corner because we usually bring it. There's some heat on a daily basis that other shows might not cover, but we're getting into it. So let's start with this one. This is a weird one. Derek Bender, who was in the Minnesota Twins organization, just got picked, right? Got a few $100,000, 6th-round pick. Just came out of school, playing in the minor leagues down in Fort Myers, A-ball. And he's not into baseball, apparently, because he was giving signs to the other team so that they would lose and get out of the playoffs. And then the Twins said, no tolerance policy, you're out of here. And they cut him soon after giving him a few $100,000. ESPN just reported it yesterday, passing to McDaniel. Top 5. You see all this? I'm reading it and I'm like, huh? And also, I want more. I want more to the story. I'm like, I want the specifics. Like, what was he doing?
Listen,
what was he saying?
Before I go, I just know inside right now, Erik is so mad. I know how mad he is because he was a minor leaguer for a long time, and all he wanted was minor league rings. And inside, and the guy's a catcher. He gave the guys the sign so they didn't have to move on to the playoffs so he can go home. Oh, my God. I know. I'm not even going to say another word until I hear Erik. I know steam is coming out of his nostrils, his ears, his eyeballs. William Wallace, go ahead. I'm not going to say a word.
Actually, that's like the exact opposite. Your lock.
Wow.
Top
I
5,
don't
you
know.
still have us?
Are you there with us?
I'm here.
Okay.
You still hear us?
I hear you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Sorry, we had a little reload.
Little hiccup.
Little reload screen. I thought we lost you.
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm super happy for this guy because he's out of the game now. He doesn't need to play anymore. You thought I was going to go the other way. There has been it's amazing that this came out. I know people have done this. I know people have done this because they're pissed at their pitcher.
Okay.
And I was always like, come on, man. Like the whole Nuke Lelouch thing. Like,
Yeah.
relax, Derek Bender. Like, you don't want to go to the playoffs. Like, you just signed for $297,000. You got a dream of playing baseball professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Twins, I love that they got rid of him because you don't need cancers in your clubhouse. Maybe this was a one-time thing. I have a hard time believing this was like he just got there that day and was like, I just don't want to be here anymore. It's a constant. You don't want to be around like energy suckers like that.
Sure. Yeah,
And
but this
for
is
him-
next level to me. I'm like worried about the mindset, like the mental state of someone that's going to this length. Like, this is concerning at the little league level if someone's trying to purposely lose. It's like, you don't have to play. I mean, I think the game is at a point too. I mean, I know people in the Twins organization that if he went to them and said, hey, I'm struggling, I'm dealing with some stuff, like, that's all it takes, especially at that level where they're like, okay, gotcha. If you go to the right person, they go, okay, something going on. We're going to put you on whatever the version of restricted listed in the minors. They just say, like, go home. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. They might look at you differently. Because of that, some teams will judge, some don't. But regardless, this is the worst case scenario where you're actually tainting your character forever. I mean, how does another team even pick up a player like that? Like, yes, you basically said you don't want to play, but this is a really bad way to do it. So I just wish that if there was actually a problem going on for him, he was really struggling with something, that he just went to the team, because this is the worst. This is really bad, because this makes it selfish. This isn't about you now. This is about everyone else that's there.
I never thought of it that way. I just
You know
thought
what I'm
of it
saying?
as,
Maybe, like,
he needs help.
Maybe.
He needs help.
You ever come across someone where you're like, they just lash out, they do something weird, whatever, and you're like, what's going on? And then you find out, like, he was going through something
at home.
Someone passed away, something happened in his personal life, something's happening with his mental health. Like, there's stuff, I get it, but the way that this resulted puts you in a loser spot. Like, what are you supposed to do if you're the Twins? You got to cut him, and then no one's going to pick him up ever. Like, your career's done on one story like that.
One story, one action. I don't think it's a one-off thing. But my mind goes to, when I saw this story, my mind goes to a guy who I got drafted with named John Axford, not the pitcher.
Okay.
A position player. He signed for over $100,000 out of high school, and he was my roommate for a little bit in Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada. We're in the dungeon of a basement, and he has one of those little pocket schedules hanging on his side of the wall, and he has an X over one day in our season, and every day he marks off each day. And I'm like, dude, why do you have the X on, I don't know what it was, July something, maybe end of July? He goes, well, that's 90 days after I signed my contract. He goes, then I can quit.
Wow.
Because they couldn't take his bonus away.
And he didn't want to be there.
Okay. That's what
he decided that before he even signed, or he decided that when he was there, like, this is not for me?
He went to, so he was in extended. He had signed, like it was like a late sign. And then he went to extended. I don't think he played the season before because it wouldn't have been 90 days. But he ended up, he signed, went to extended, and extended. Todd doesn't know about extended.
Extended spring training.
Extended spring training.
I've been there once.
For a whole season? For a whole 3 months?
Oh, wait. No, you're talking. What was the one after the year started?
Not instructs. Extended.
Instructs, you're right. I never did extended. You're right.
Extended. You have a spring training morning and you play a game in the Florida roasting sun. But anyway, that'll get it for you. Like, he was missing home, all that stuff. Talented player, didn't want to be there. But to me, as much as I didn't respect how he did it, like what this guy did, he could have gotten his pitcher hurt. Not saying, oh, well, you gave up 4 runs for your pitcher's sake. Like, that's always going to be on his ledger. Minor leagues, that's not what it's about. He could have gotten somebody hurt. Like, people would always ask me, you ever tell a hitter what's coming? No, not once. Like that, and maybe that's ignorant of me. Like, every situation I feel like is a chance to compete, but he could have gotten somebody hurt. At least Axford just quit.
Susie in the chat's like, well, then why doesn't the opposing team say something right away in a case like this? They take the dub, then they say something.
They're trying to get their knocks?
Yeah.
100%.
No, that's money, baby.
Right.
They want, like,
well, you're trying to win. Like, that's not my problem that this guy's doing this. No. Now at least they told him afterward. They're like, yo, you guys have an issue, right?
I want to know how they found out. Did the other team come over and say?
The coaches from the other team came over to the Mighty Muscles coaches and told them.
I know, man. Listen, if it is a one-off thing, I don't think you should have released them, in my opinion. But I agree with you, Kratzy, that I feel like there's more to it. I feel like you sit this guy down by, hey, dude, you got an opportunity. This is strike 1 and 2. You do anything wrong. If you're late to a practice, if you're you're gone. Like, but there's got to be something else to it.
Can I ask a question too, just for the specifics of how this would be going on? What is he doing? Like, what is he? Is he just calling it out?
Yeah.
So doesn't the ump hear that too?
Mm-hmm.
So why doesn't the ump say something to the organization?
No chance.
Not his job.
Why would the ump? No, not like.
Hey, your catcher's giving away signs to the other team.
Nope. So then that coach who finds out
the game.
Hey,
no,
that coach that finds out will say, hey, he'll go to the other coach and the guy will be like, oh, how'd you find out? Well, the umpire told me. And then you got somebody else mad at the umpire, and then next thing you know, time they play, you got a big mouth, blabbermouth.
No. Okay.
I'm actually surprised it came out, I'll be honest with you.
Really?
Yes. Because I know it happened before. I know it's happened. I remember the catchers that did it. And it was like they said it as like a funny thing. Not a whole inning so your team loses.
Right, that's what he did. And then they scored 4, right? Something like that. And then
scored 4, I think, in the second inning or something like that.
Yeah. Crazy story. So I think there'll be more to it that we'll hear about, maybe now, just because it's become a national story. It's in the sphere, literally a national story, and beyond baseball. Like, people are interested. Like, wait,
we got to ask AJ if he ever did that.
If he ever did that
to spite a pitcher or something.
AJ, this is one of those stories where AJ is excited to be on Monday and go off. He's going to go off.
Either way. He's
going to go off. So stay tuned on Monday for that. But in the meantime, give us 2 minutes and we'll get Grayson Rodriguez all set up to join us. Baltimore Orioles pitcher joining us in 2 minutes. Happy Friday, FT fam. If you want to worry a little bit less about what you're putting on the table and how you're going to put it together, then HelloFresh is for you. That's America's #1 meal kit. And that means it helps your laziness component in a good way. Like, I don't need to do all the searching and do all the shopping when I can do a few clicks. So it's a good thing to think about on a Friday, right? Like, what does my week look like next week? Should I just be going to HelloFresh.com, punching in the FT code for free breakfast for life, by the way, which I'll get to in a moment, one free breakfast item per box. But should I just be going to HelloFresh.com/freeFT to get the job done?
Easy. Or if you don't plan ahead on what you're going to eat
Mm-hmm.
in some way, whether it's shopping or doing this where they shop for you and they send it to you and you know you have a meal in the fridge and freezer, like you're going to be eating bagels and cream cheese and like Thin Mints, like 4 Thin Mints before you're supposed to be locked in.
We're ordering from the same place over and over again, and you're just like, damn. And it's expensive. So if you're doing that. So if you'd like to live large and do it cheaper, then HelloFresh.com is the spot for you. Okay, so make sure you check it out and hit that promo code, which is just a website, HelloFresh.com/freeFT. It's all you have to do. Once you do that, it takes you to the site. The FT code is automatically in there for you at that point for free breakfast for life. 1 free breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life just by going to HelloFresh.com/freeFT. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. What's up? We're back. Grayson Rodriguez from the Orioles joining us right now on FT. First off, good to see you, dude. How you feeling?
Yeah, good to see y'all. Feeling better. Getting better one day at a time.
Okay, give us the update, like the fresh update right now. Like, what's the last thing you did? What's in your mind in terms of scheduling? Where you at?
Yeah, so 2 days through a bullpen. Just trying to feel it day by day. Obviously, trying to get back as fast as I can. We're trying to get this division. Really, that's all I can say right now is just playing catch and throwing pins.
My question to you is September 24th. You guys are playing at New York. You think you'll be ready to go by then?
We'll see. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. So, that's obviously the Yankees, so circled on a lot of our calendars. It's close. Just trying to take it day by day and try to get the W's when we can.
Yeah, and my last question to you about this whole scheduling. I mean, you guys have a really tough schedule. I'm looking at this here. We have Detroit, San Francisco, Detroit again, Yankees, Minnesota. You guys been struggling. I mean, let's just be real. They've been struggling a little bit here. That post All-Star break. I thought you guys were going to take over and just run through this AL East. We understand baseball. We've been there, how hard it is. You got some young guys that haven't played, a couple years and understand and playing that many games. But you still think these Orioles team has a lot of punch back and ready to rock?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one thing that's kind of reiterated in our clubhouse is, we haven't really played our best baseball yet. Last year, kind of looking back at, 101 wins, I think is what it was like. We played our best baseball in the regular season. It wasn't there in the postseason. This year, I think we kind of have it flipped where, we know that we still have our best baseball in front of us. And, I'm not going to say we're trying to save it for the postseason, but definitely coming down the stretch, I think we still have a lot left in the tank. Obviously, you have your highs and lows of the season. And I think we're about to hit another high. And I think that's what a lot of guys think as well.
I'm curious to get your take because you were one of the people brought up. I was talking to someone around the O's, and they said they're missing a couple of their, I'll TV it a little bit. They're screw you guys, right? They're like Grayson Rodriguez, Jordan Westberg. They're like, this is a super talented team. They're like, of course, those two bring a lot on the field, but they're like, there's an edge to them that most teams feel like they need. And for this team, those are two that are high up there in that category. What does that statement mean to you? Do you buy into that? And can you elaborate on it for you and, of course, for Jordan too?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think I can speak for both of us saying that we're competitors. Obviously, anytime we're in the lineup or on the mound, whatever it might be, like we're trying to compete as hard as we can, not just for ourselves or our family, but for our teammates. Like this is a pretty tight knit clubhouse. A lot of us came up together. Me and Westy came up through the minor leagues together. So it's like a family, and I think yeah, I mean, I do agree with that because anytime we're out there, we're trying to kill the opponent. I mean, it's as simple as that. And obviously, not being out there sucks, but we're trying to get back at it as fast as we can.
That is perfect lead-in, as fast as you can. Who needs to hold who back? Are the trainers like holding you back, or are you like, no, I know what I need to do. Like, I got a body of a veteran, but I'm a baby still, so you need to listen to me. Who needs to hold who back here?
I don't like to think of myself as a baby. But no, I mean, I think it kind of goes back and forth. Obviously, like wanting to get out there, wanting to get off the mound. With pitchers, when you're rehabbing or coming back from an injury, obviously you only get to throw fastballs to a certain point. And then, finally, maybe your second pin, your third pin, you start getting to mix all the off-speed pitches in. But from pin number one, it's just like, man, I want to throw curveballs. I want to throw changeups. I want to throw everything because I feel good. I think there's kind of the limitations there with the training staff and the pitching coaches where they're like, no, hold on, we're just throwing heaters. But I'd say that's like one thing for me, obviously, is just chomping at the bit and, trying to go at a good pace to make sure you don't re-injure yourself.
You talk about fastballs. Says here that you've thrown a 4-seam fastball for the first pitch in every start this year. So is that something that you're like, you know what, I'm just going to keep this up, or, hey, this is my pitch here, brother. I'm going to spot this up. You can hit it as far as you want, but here it comes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's kind of, I feel like in today's game, there's no such thing as a get me over strike anymore, especially when you got guys like, swinging out of their shoes first pitch of the game. Obviously, Gunnar Henderson, when he's in the leadoff spot, he's typically swinging pretty early. Has hit, a few homers this year with that. But, I mean, I think it's more of just a rhythm, like, here it is, hit it. Obviously, if it's down the middle, it's probably going to get hit. So I think, kind of eliminating that, I can probably sneak this one by him or he's probably going to take it. I think that's kind of, out the window. But, in terms of me, like, obviously just trying to drive my heater through the zone. And that's something that I'm just going to do from pitch number one.
Hey, we talked a lot about Gunnar Henderson at the beginning of the year as an MVP candidate. Obviously, there's some pretty good competition in the American League right now, but you get to watch him on an everyday basis. It felt like he started to kind of heat up again to that MVP level. What are you seeing from watching him on a daily basis?
Yeah, just him being comfortable. Obviously, like, when he's playing at his best, he's just up there, not thinking about anything. It's like, the thing that I love about Gunnar is he still has like a high school mentality of, I might have already gotten 3 hits today, but if I get out my next at bat, I'm going to be, upset. Like, it's just, some guys I feel like you can see, like maybe they get their knock or maybe they have 2 hits and they're like, you know what, I'm good. I just go up there and do whatever. But man, Gunnar's like grinding every at bat. Like I said, he could have 3 homers already on the day, but if he goes up there and doesn't hit a homer on the 4th at bat, he's going to come into the bat rack and he's probably going to slam his bat in there and be upset about it. And that's kind of one thing that I really like about him. And obviously now when he goes up to the plate, again, we're back in that swing of, all right, there's probably going to be some loud contact and, this pitcher better be careful because, this ball might leave the yard. And, that's the most fun to have. Obviously, as a pitcher, like getting to watch your guys go up to bat is now when Gunnar goes back up there, you think this ball's about to get hit hard.
Talk about Adley. Talk about what Adley's meant to this team. When he came up, you guys didn't get swept for like 92 straight series or something like that. And now he's struggling. He's been struggling for a little while now. Is there something that he's grinding through? Do you see him? How do you see him handling it? Is he the same Adley day in and day out, or are there times where you're like, hey, I got to pick this guy up?
I mean, obviously, Adley, he's a winner. I think that's kind of the first thing, you said about not getting swept there for a long time. I think our record since he got called up is pretty good as well. He's just like one of those guys, great in the clubhouse. From a personal standpoint or anything like that, he's as consistent as it gets. He's not, however he's playing is not going to affect how he is in the clubhouse or as a teammate. So that's one thing I really love about him. Obviously, even if he might struggle at the plate, it doesn't affect his decisions, when he's out there calling pitches. And that's a really good thing from a pitcher standpoint, obviously, because, you have some catchers that, it might not be going their way at the plate, and that kind of carries over into their defense. But that's not the case with Rutch. And like I said, he's a grinder, he goes out there and plays as hard as he can every day. I think things will start to fall his way. He has put up really good at-bats, and he's hit some balls hard that just, right at guys that hadn't fallen. And, like I said, I think that's going to change for him here pretty soon.
Okay, so my question, I'm going to change gears a little bit, talk a little about catching. Derek Bender, have you heard about this the other day, the draft pick from Coastal Carolina? He didn't want to play in the playoffs. This is, we're hearing a little bit of this story. Didn't want to play. He was telling the batters basically what was coming. So I want to get your take on this. If you've heard of it, I think from you smiling, you did hear about it. In the minor leagues, it's a grind. We get it. But, what do you think about this whole situation about him telling the batters what's coming?
Yeah, that's pretty tough. We were me, Holiday, and Rutch were talking about it on the bus on the way here, and then obviously walking in the stadium today, man, there's just so many different things about that. The first way I saw it is from the pitching side of things. Man, if I'm a minor, when was it? It was low A or what level? Low A, I think.
Yeah, low A.
Dude, low A is a grind. You obviously have guys that just got drafted, maybe, some guys that have been there, obviously fighting to try to make it to the next level. And, man, it's like I said, it's hard. And then, if you've got your catcher back there telling the guys what's coming, man, that'd be pretty hard not to fight the guy, I think, if you're that staff. Just because, obviously your goal is to make it to the big leagues. And, some guys are kind of on the fringe, of maybe getting released, maybe getting called up. There's a lot of different ways that you can go with that. And with that guy telling hitters what's coming, man, he's really screwing with some of the pitchers' careers that were on that team. And then, man, if you don't want to keep playing or you just want to go home, are you really doing what you love? That's another thing. I can't imagine just wanting to purposely lose a game just so you go. Yeah, man, that's pretty wild to us for sure.
What did the other guys say? Because that's an eclectic group you had there. I want to know what Rutch said. I want to know what Adley said about it, and I want to know what Jackson said about it, because Jackson's younger than this dude that just did it. He's like, yeah, I didn't want to be in the minor leagues either, so I just played good and made it to the big leagues.
Well, the first thing that Adley said was he was like, well, that's what we did when we were in low A. I told everybody what was coming, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Or I would have
Stop.
Put your butt on the spot. And he was laughing, they all agree, man. That's tough. That's selfish. It's just, you kind of always joke about it happening. I've always kind of joked about it, like Rutch or James McCann. I'm like, y'all just don't tell them what's coming today. But for that to actually happen is pretty wild. Obviously that's a whole different ball game there.
Yeah, that's like from a movie or something. Well, it is from a movie.
It's literally from a movie.
You mentioned Nuke LaLoosh earlier. There are some kids out there that might not know what you're talking about.
That movie's spot on.
Look it up.
That is not spot on.
Yeah, that part's not spot on. But now it is, at least in one case. It was in one case, just throwing it out there. All right, I got one more for you, Grayson. Right. You see how they're going to put the sponsor logo, decal, whatever, for that sponsor on the batting helmets? There it is for Strauss in the playoffs. So, all the teams will have that on their batting helmets. Do you guys care, or do you also look at it as, cool, we're in a business and there's sponsor logos on our helmets? What's your take on that?
Everybody's getting that?
Everybody.
Everybody.
That's the first I'm seeing of that. Yeah, I mean that's gonna be different. Yeah, I mean this is my first reaction to that. Yeah, it'll be different. Yeah, I'm sure it's not gonna matter. From a playing perspective, but it'll definitely be different. I'm sure seeing it on TV and seeing it in person kind of look like, I guess, like maybe the Mexican League, Japanese, all that stuff. They put the ads on the helmets. Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be different for sure.
Yep, that is right. That's how it is.
I still have my helmet from the 2 weeks I played over in Japan.
It's got logos.
Got the logo right on it.
Mm-hmm.
What were the logos? Or what were the?
It was either, I think it was a Yamaha sponsored tournament. I think Yamaha sponsored it, and then the next time I went over, it was an energy drink. Like I had my Team USA jersey, and it had a big old energy drink patch. They called it B12 Energy.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Grayson, the soccer jerseys too. I mean, if you're not a soccer fan, you don't even know what team you're watching.
You're right. Maybe those logos will have some homers in them. That'll help us for sure. That's how we're going to look at it.
Otherwise, someone's going to be ripping the stickers off.
Stupid sticker.
Can't do that. You can't do that. That's a fine.
Can't do that. Another one gets put on.
Yeah, exactly. Automatically, it appears.
Oh,
it's
in the playoffs, you saw it, Grayson. Like if somebody sits in front of the Gatorade cooler or whatever other like sponsors they have, or if somebody has a water, they rip all the logos off the water. You have to there's the sponsor stuff in the playoff is real deal.
Yeah, coconut water, it's got to get stripped, right?
Last year they had advertisements on all these like buckets. I don't even remember what was on the bucket, but the buckets were just empty, and like there was a lot of the empty coolers just sitting in the dugout. Like we were just like, this is pointless. They're taking up space. So yeah, definitely saw that last year with advertisements on stuff that was just completely empty. So
they'll move you if you move it. If you move it to sit in that spot,
yeah, they'll get you.
Somebody will come back through. One of the equipment guys come back through and is like, "We need 7 things that say whatever this is."
I get it. We do sponsorship for this show. It'd just be funny to be on a call like, "Hey, how would you like to sponsor a bucket? There's nothing in it. But
2 buckets.
2
buckets.
It's real though.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Grayson, keep recovering. We'll hopefully see you for that series that Todd Father Scott circles. All right. Keep going strong, man. Always great to catch up with you. Enjoy the combo, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yep. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Appreciate you. Speedy recovery, dude. Grayson Rodriguez, Baltimore Orioles, back soon. All right, here we go. I want to show this tweet from Mike Petriello, just kind of keeping up with the AL MVP situation. I don't know. I mean, I can call it a race, but I don't know if Todd Father might get offended about his former teammate. No, it's okay. Okay. So
no, I won't
Judge.
get offended.
Okay, Judge is 6-18 in his last 15 games. I think that was entering yesterday. Yeah, it was. And he said, "Too bad Whitt's in a mini slump of his own, or we could really get that LMVP combo fired up." Yeah, Judge has been slow. I mean, maybe we take the minute to tell the world what you've seen from Judgy.
He's just behind fastballs and ahead of the breaking balls.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a stat. He's hit over 50% of his fly balls to right field have been home runs. So yeah, he has to, and this is going to sound weird, he has to almost be late on the fastball. He can't be out in front on a fastball. Not that you're out in front of 100 miles an hour anymore, but he's got to let it get deep to be able to elevate that pitch to the opposite field. That's just like a thought, a mindset, a process. No, it's not getting beat. He's not getting. It's just where that contact point is to drive the ball to right field like he does. Right now, he's a tick behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he would say that. And some people will be like, well, then why don't you speed up?
It's easy.
Like, he is superhuman. Don't get this 12 games, 15 games twisted. Just because he has my career line in these 16 games, you think he's like, something hurt. Is
Yeah.
it his toe?
Mm-hmm.
Is it his broken hand from 2 years ago? What is it? There's something. Like, he is human. He has otherworldly stats, but he is human, and he'll figure it out. To me, I'd rather have it right now. I'd rather have it right now than say, the last 3 days of the regular season going into postseason.
Yeah, and they're actually winning games too. So that's actually a plus too. Like I said, they're finding a way to win games. It doesn't matter how they win games. He got an RBI double the other day, an RBI single to tie the game. He's doing other things. I know the average isn't there, but he is doing other things to be who he needs to be. I was looking at the stats before, 30 and 99 for Whitt, home runs and RBIs too. So it's a good race.
Yeah, I like that. I like a good race. In the weeds. All right. Still got a couple juicy topics left to go today. So let's hit this Evan Drellick article, which included quotes from super agent Scott Boras, who said, all of this risk for MLB players is created so two teams can play a season on one field. All the while we have major league facility less than 60 miles away sitting empty. It just doesn't seem rational if player health and safety is paramount. So he's talking about the concern in Sacramento about playing there. He later said the health and safety concern of having AstroTurf at the major league level, which creates heat in the valley that's often in the hundreds during the summer. So he's talking about all of the health and safety issues, which are legit. There was an immediate statement out there yesterday from the MLB side, which the A's then told reporters to go off of. And they said, I'm going to paraphrase, don't go off that. This is not exactly what they said, but they said, we don't care. We do what we want. You can play in a dungeon. This is not part of the CBA. You play where we say you're going to play. That is what they said, right? Like they said they're playing in Sacramento next year. Period.
They said it eloquently.
There's no other case where this is not the case. Besides the playoffs, that's different. They might play somewhere else. But for the regular season, they are playing there. So anyone can come out and whine and cry. Players, union, Boras, agents, whatever. Us, plenty, right? Fans, plenty. But they're playing there for the 8,000 people that are going to go maybe and watch them play out there.
I think it'll hold 12.
12. Okay.
I think it holds 12.
And you know what? They'll probably do well because Sacramento's going to embrace it, but it's not a pretty picture for a lot of people right now, Todd Father. And I've been shocked. We've been shocked as a show. Sometimes I'm like consensus that it hasn't been talked about a lot. I think it just hasn't been talked about a lot because it's still not here yet. But when it feels real and it is 110 and a player gets hurt and tears an ACL on the turf and all of that, then it'll lead off the show and charge the mound. For now, it's in the weeds.
What is he saying? I'm just drawing a blank. What major league facility is 60 miles away sitting empty?
Still talking about the Coliseum.
The Coliseum's sitting there empty,
okay.
and they're not playing there.
All right.
So, okay, it's one thing. I almost think the consensus for many is, all right, it's one thing you guys are moving. You can't figure your crap out, and you don't want to be in Oakland anymore as a sport. Okay. But we're going to go years and years playing in a minor league park with unideal and with an unideal environment, basically, right? This isn't the minor league park that's got the dome and whatever. Not that I don't know if there are any, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't a situation where you're like, hey, I know it's a minor league park. They got to share it. It doesn't hold as many people, but it's the best. Like, this facility is sick. Like, that's not the case here. And I know they have to fix things up, but there's only so much fixing that's going to happen. I don't think they have a weather machine that gets to switch how, the 110 goes down to 95. Because if that was the case, we'd be solving a lot of problems.
All the places where it gets that hot, they have a dome.
Yeah.
They close it. Any place that they're going to be playing on AstroTurf, they don't have to worry about that heat. There's trainers in high schools now that are connected to health networks that they have regulations. When the temperature is, let's say, 90 degrees on grass, there's no restriction for exercise. On turf, they consider 90 degrees, 97 degrees. So now you're talking about, okay, restrictions, 97 degrees, you're not allowed to do certain things for a certain amount of time. 110 on the turf. Like, And they're never going to point to it and say, well, the reason that person got hurt was this. The reason that's going to drain players. It's going to drain them. 110 on turf might come out to like 135, something crazy like that. Like they're going to cook out there. And that's going to wear them down over 162 games. So for Boris to come out and say this, every time Boris talks, people kind of go, oh, great. What's he going to say for his client? It's always Boris angle. To me, this is 100% a bigger picture, a macro problem for the entire league that you're not worried about player safety. Other leagues are worried about player safety, and they clearly are not for the dollar.
Also, I'll throw this out there, Todd Father, because Brent Rooker's a stud right now in the bigs.
Oh,
if I'm him, I mean, maybe he's not the best example because maybe you come up with someone that's playing the field on an everyday basis, but I'm looking for a guy that's maybe like a few years into his career.
Lawrence
okay,
Butler.
well, yeah, a younger
You're
player,
saying
but
an
still,
older player.
What I wanted to point out was
Seth Brown.
This might end your career earlier. How many times did you hear about guys or talk to guys saying, I've been around Andre Dawson a million times. He's like, turf killed me. He's like, that wore me down at the end. Could have played longer, could have played better, all that, right?
So many guys talk
So many guys. That's one of thousands, right, that get burned by certain turf scenarios in the past. And like Montreal, for example, that was at least indoor turf. This is outdoor turf.
It gets hot.
Yeah.
Your cleats feel like they're melting. Adam Lynn, Joey Bats, Jose Bautista, Troy Tulowitzki came from came from Colorado, went to Toronto. He was talking about the turf. Guys go into Toronto. Hey, I need to get them off their feet. If they play 3 games, get them off their feet for the next game when we go away. Or you play Seattle. Seattle flies to Toronto. You're going to have guys playing 2 of 3 games because you just can't be on your feet all the time. Oakland, wear it. Seth Brown, get out there. Lawrence Butler's a young guy. Go ahead, get out there. Go spend your 4 years there raking and see how your body feels at the end of it. It's real. It is a real thing. And football players will look at us and be like, you're soft. It's a real thing standing out there.
Yeah, they play 1 game on that. But I just want to make one point. You ever play in the California League, Kratzy?
No.
I never did. My
No.
brother did. And the home runs come plenty in that league.
Oh, man.
So
For
I'm going
sure.
to explain something to you. There's going to be a boatload of home runs in that stadium, and the ball will fly. So, yeah, if I'm a hitter, I'm not happy that I'm at this place. But there's one positive to come out of this. And for a hitter, they're going to hit pop flies, and they're going to go out. And you're going to see a lot of it.
Look at some of the farthest home runs in the minor leagues over the past 3 or 4 years.
Oh, my God.
Sacramento.
Wow.
500-plus foot home runs by guys that you may not even have heard of.
This place is an outlier of a place.
It's an outlier of a place. I mean, it's no Vegas
Crazy.
or Reno or Albuquerque,
but it's
there's
right there.
It's right in there.
Wow.
No pitchers are signing there, that's for sure.
Nah. Well, good luck on the free
I don't know
agency
if
front in
anybody's signing
general.
there.
Yeah,
Because it takes money.
Man, it is such a fascinating case. There's going to be a great movie on this someday.
And it has to be talked about.
It does.
Because nobody else is talking about it because of the statement that they just put out saying,
zip it.
We're going to play in Sacramento.
Yeah. It's a good story. It's a crazy story. It's going to be a story next year, just like we're talking about it now. So we're here for you first. To Curt Hogg about Jackson Cherio's 2020 rookie season next. All right, YouTube fam, we'll throw this one out there. The Texas Rangers sign up their general manager, Chris Young, to a multi-year contract extension. The contract had been expiring after the 2024 season. I mean, I'll call it breaking news, but it's really just obvious news. I mean, Chris Young pretty quickly won a World Series with the Rangers. Even this year, they take a step back. If you want to call it that, I would call it the World Series hangover. I think Rangers fans should be pretty excited about next year, too. I mean, some things didn't go their way with the offense, and it's pretty fun to watch deGrom coming off of a Kumar Rocker start that looked pretty good and say,
followed by a
Scherzer. What's all this going to look like next year? I mean, Scherzer obviously could be gone because he's going to be a free agent, but deGrom's coming back next year for them, Kumar Rocker, among many others. So, I mean, pretty obvious news here, Todd Father, that Chris Young's going to be running this team for a while.
Yeah, and he's been doing an unbelievable job. Just think about it. Him coming in, they win a World Series. I just remember facing him and how stoic and how a guy that barely reached 92, 93 miles an hour was just dominating the scene. Every time I face him, I'm going to get him. I think I got a double off him one time. I'm like, dude, that was one of the harder bats I've ever had facing a guy because when he reaches to throw that thing, oh my God, it's way out there. So it looks even harder. But yeah, congratulations to him. He worked his way to get there, and it just was awesome. I mean, there's nothing else to say. He should be very proud of himself.
I said it a lot last year when they were making their moves, when they were making their run. This is how teams need to think and work in their front offices.
Mm-hmm.
He's not sitting here going, I don't care about the minor leagues. No, he's continuing to use the development that they've used there. He's going out to look for the best available options to win now. And he had the quote that will stick with me forever when we played together in 2015 when we won a World Series together. He came in late in spring training and he goes, I really don't care what my role is. He said, but game 1 of the season, to me, I've seen it. It matters the same as game 162. And that's his mindset as a player because he missed out on the playoffs twice by 1 game. And he's like, it doesn't matter. So that's how your GM, if you're a Rangers fan, is thinking about the season and building a team. That is a positive. If you have a good player in your minor leagues, Wyatt Langford, he's going to be up if he makes the team better from game 1.
Well, look at them last year. I mean, that team didn't run away with any division or anything. So you had to win all those games. You had to win to get in.
Moves.
Yeah, and make moves. Here we go, back with Curt Hogg. Good to see you again. Curt is a great follow on Twitter at CYRTHOGG, and also, of course, the Brewers beat reporter for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. So, Curt, good to see you. And, of course, we got to start with Jackson Chourio coming off the 2020 season. We were like, we got to call Curt and get his thoughts on what he's seeing because I don't feel like he's getting the crazy attention that he got last year when he was the #1 prospect in the sport.
Part of that is this rookie class in the National League. It's really, really, really good and really, really tight and competitive as well. Jackson Merrill's been awesome. Paul Skeens, do we have to say anything more? Shota Imanaga, like all these other guys too. But you know what? Yeah, being the youngest guy to ever go 2020 and doing it with, 2 weeks left in the season and with the way he started the year, pretty impressive. I am as impressed, and maybe it's because I get to watch him up close every day, but as impressed with what Chourio's doing as any of these remarkable rookies are.
He's getting better as the season goes on. His numbers are getting, so he's getting better. If this were the MVP race, he would be pulling away with the MVP race. If it was the same people because, you're doing it down the stretch. You're pushing your team into the playoffs. His success coincided with this team's MVP, Christian Yelich, going out. He started to get hot just a little bit before this. Does that give him enough of a push over Jackson Merrill, who I think is the front runner right now?
Yeah, I think Merrill and Chourio are probably actually pretty similar in that regard. Merrill's cooled off a little bit of late, but Merrill won Rookie of the Month in August, and that's with Chourio posting like a 9-something OPS. Chourio leads the National League in batting since June 2nd or so. And when you look at the way this roster is shaped up, Willy Adames has been great. William Contreras has been great. But outside of those guys, with Christian Yelich going down, they absolutely needed someone to step up. And Chourio has carried a significant load for this team. And his defense has been improved as well. It's been super impressive to watch. And yeah, the way he is effectively carrying the load for a team that's running away with the division, that no one expected to run away with the division, that should probably carry some weight too. He's playing meaningful games and taking a torch to the league while doing it.
So then how does that relate to how we should size up the Milwaukee Brewers for the postseason? Where do you think this team is at? Are they equipped to win a World Series? Like that's the goal here. This team has had a lot of success, a lot of regular season success for a good chunk of time now. Do you think that they can get to a World Series and win a World Series with the current team? Don't look at 2025, 2026. Oh, we got nice young players. What about right now?
That's exactly what it needs to be in Milwaukee. And this is a different team than it's been the past few years when it was Woodruff and Burns and Peralta. And you know what? Those teams underperformed. They've won one playoff game since coming within a game of the World Series in 2018. That's pretty low given the standards of what they've accomplished in the regular season. So, yeah, this thing is all about what you do now in the playoffs. Winning 95 games is great, and it's no doubt an indicator that this is one of the best run and most consistent franchises of baseball. And doing it in Milwaukee is no small deal either. But at some point, winning in the playoffs is what matters. And I think we are now at that point. We were at that point last year when they got eliminated in 2 games in a matter of seconds by the Diamondbacks. So, yeah, that's what is going to matter for this team. It looks entirely different. Like they're going to have to piece it together with the pitching a little more. It's not a bunch of aces. They've got Freddie Peralta still, but it's going to have to be a lot of combinations for 27 outs, but that's also sort of their strength. So they certainly don't stack up as the most talented team in the National League, and they'll be having to play at their best no matter what come the playoffs.
So you kind of lead into my question here. You talk about Freddie Peralta and you talk about the Diamondbacks as well. Well, lo and behold, they're playing in Arizona this week, this weekend. Do you think this is kind of a playoff implication of what's to come?
It's a good test against a really, really, really good offense. And there's some guys pitching in this series where like this start is a good indicator of where they stack up against a lineup like this. Tobias Myers has a chance to be a game 2 or game 3 starter, assuming this team makes the wild card round. Well, guess what? He's pitching against the Diamondbacks. That's one of the bigger tests for him in his remarkable rookie year as well. This playoff roster is still, there's a lot of spots open up in the air. Guys are going to have to take them both on the pitching side and on the offense side, but a lot of question marks as to who's going to get what role in the postseason. That's what kind of these last 3 weeks are about. And no doubt, starting these 3 games in Arizona here, where it's going to be 105 degrees, that is kind of not the beginning, because they've had some tough tests the last couple of weeks, but the beginning of a really difficult stretch to finish up the regular season, even though they're going to have this division wrapped up.
Are we talking about Tobias Myers enough?
No.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I think you wrote something about it, if I'm not incorrect, about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, there's been Tobias Myers stuff coming throughout the year. Ken Rosenthal, he got some national attention a couple weeks ago. He had a story in The Athletic that was pretty good. I think like around Milwaukee, people are well aware of the Tobias Myers story, but to go from a guy 2 years ago, this guy was DFA'd or released 3 times, lost, I think, 15 or 16 games in AAA, started last year at AA. Now, look, he's one of your 3 most trusted arms and is absolutely going to get playoff starts seemingly at this rate. That's a pretty big deal, and also kind of just indicative of how this team is doing it once again. Sure, they've got some superstars. Let's not like gloss over that fact, kind of like how Moneyball sort of glosses over that they had all these really good players. The Brewers have really good players. Contreras, Adames, Churrios in that group, Devin Williams. Like, they have superstars. But they also get to where they are because they turned Tobias Myers into a guy with a sub-3 ERA, and he's going to make 25 starts this year. It's sort of their calling card.
Maybe I missed it, but you really didn't answer Scott's question. Is this team built to win the World Series?
Oh, that's going to put me on the spot there. They have a chance, but they're going to need a lot of things to break right, more than other teams. You stack them up against like the Phillies or a healthy Dodgers team, and on paper, they really don't stand much of a chance. The lineup it's deep, but it's not deep in terms of like really, really impactful hitters. So they're going to need everything to break right on the pitching side. Guys like DL Hall, Aaron Ashby, going to have to be at their best. Of course, every team in October has a chance. I just don't think a lot of people are going to be picking the Brewers. But then again, who picked them to win the division? And that's kind of where they play their best baseball under Pat Murphy.
Is there a trend that is changing? Because today they're facing Eduardo Rodriguez. They have struggled against lefties. Is there a trend where you could see them getting in as the 3 seed? They got to play in the first round, and that team that they're facing just throws out 2 lefties and they bounce out early. Are they changing this narrative that they can't hit lefties?
Hasn't been changed yet, Kratz. Blake Snell, I mean, it is Blake Snell, let's be fair, but he shoved against them this week. I think they're 18-22 in games started by left-handers on the opposing side this year, which for a team that's 22 games over 500, that's pretty bad. And they've struggled against lefties for a while. And guess who they might line up against in the first round? The Mets. Well, they got some lefties. The Braves, they got some lefties. The Diamondbacks, oh yeah, they're facing one of those guys tonight. So if we're talking questions about this team, they haven't hit lefties for years. And no one really knows what to make of it. Like, they have guys in the lineup that can hit lefties. They just don't do it.
Wow. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that game coming up too. Brewers Diamondbacks for tonight. So, Curt, awesome to catch up with you. Appreciate the time. I know you were hustling through a pretty early flight today too, right? What time was your flight today?
We were boarding at 5:20 in Milwaukee.
Ooh,
which going to Arizona, you land at like 7. So a lot of downtime.
Nap time.
Nap time. Yeah. Nap. Are you a napper? You going to get a nap in?
I'm going to get some lunch and then go to the ballpark and watch some ball. No nap today. Ever since having a kid, I don't nap. Coffee, yeah.
Wait. Ever since having a kid, you don't nap? What is that? Like
I can't. I cannot nap anymore.
What does that mean?
Bad. My body doesn't let me. I lay down and
you're
I don't know how to describe it. It's bad. It's not good.
That's not
even
good.
On the road. No.
All right, Kratz, you have his info. You're gonna have to send him some tips.
Yeah, some sleeping,
some supplements.
I'm good at 2 things. One of them sleeping. Yeah. I don't nap. I just sleep. I'm a good sleeper.
Agreed.
Yeah. Going to send you some tips, so stay tuned. But Curt, great to have you on, dude. Enjoy the game tonight, right?
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Great catching up with Curt Hogg. Make sure you give him a follow, like I mentioned before, and check out his work in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Swinging back, still going to go over those decals, and we'll also do our locks, of course. Oh, we need the sound effect. See, we're doing Manscaped during Todd Father Days because he's the only one that can do it. What does it sound like?
Oh, what we just heard, or the bzzz?
Yeah, the
lawnmower.
Yeah, exactly.
Lawnmower.
To me, that sounds like 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blades.
It's easy.
Yeah,
it's easy. Tighten his jaw up right here. Look at Todd's. That's a great beard.
Yeah, it's got.
Yeah, and it needs to be tighter too.
Shape
could be tighter if only you use your Manscaped.
True.
Yeah, just right. That's right in here. I'll make this nice.
Make it nice for Fridays.
So sometimes that's why you go on the show and you get to really size up where you're at with the lines, and then you just go grab your little kit. Grab your Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, okay? So let's talk about it right now. Manscaped will even throw in 2 free gifts to that package, the boxers and the shed travel bag. And the new Buff Bundle is also there for you. And this whole package also includes their silicone scrubber and their body wash, which is great. So check all of that out. Get a little taste of, well, don't eat it, but a little freshness in your life in the package by going to manscaped.com and using the code FOUL20, FOUL20. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive FT offer, 20% off plus free shipping. Manscaped.com. Use code FOUL20. So we got multiple things to do when we swing back. That includes our locks. And we do have a problem. It might be a little different twist on a problem, but there's a problem. Here we go. So Thursday's locks just continue to just look beautiful.
Beautiful.
For Todd Father. I mean, there was no sweat, not one single iota of precipitation on that face. Nothing. While he was watching the Yankees and the Red Sox, mostly riding out a 1-1 game for a while. So good hit for Todd Father. I wanted that Kumar Rocker. K-prop didn't come out until late, and I was trying to get my gold star to get my pick in early, so went Rangers money line, squeezed out a little comeback win.
Comebacker from
Seattle's
the
had a
next
rough year.
chance.
Yeah, exactly. And they still put the punch outs together with the new crew against Rocker. I mean, that's not an easy dude to face. I get it. Cam and Kratz fell, but instead of talking about what happened there, I will bring this up. So Todd Father, Kratz just looked down at the table and he's like, what is that?
Nobody's gonna be able to see it.
No, they're not. It's way too small. It's a good luck charm. I just brought it with me.
When did
I
you
brought
get
it with me for.
Oh, your little alien
card.
Yeah, it's a little alien. You saw it yesterday, right?
I saw it, but I didn't say anything about it. It made me nervous.
You're embarrassed about it.
That's
So
just a
I
little
brought it for good
nerve-wracking.
luck at the table and good luck for my locks and stuff like that. He did bring me a win with my lock today, or yesterday. I was at a bar with some friends, and I'm known to close out bars on occasion, and they came over, and that particular bar said that they give out, they bring like a toy chest, like you're going to like the dentist or something. And they're like, all right, everyone that closes out gets to pick one. And I was like, all right, I'm picking this little alien guy for good luck. So,
And
I mean, how'd I do on my lock last night?
Got our Kumar Rocker lock too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Double hit yesterday. So there you go. Everyone needs just a little good luck charm. You know, it's like, what was the old when we were kids that some people would have that were kind of gross? Rabbit's foot.
Rabbit's foot.
I was not into that.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I do remember the rabbit's foot for sure.
I don't.
Yeah. All right. So what's your good luck charm for us in the form of a lock tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I did the under yesterday. First game in Philly, a lot of home runs. Aaron Nola versus Jose Quintana. I'm going over 8 and a hook, 345 to win 300. That's at minus 115. I feel like it's going to be a lot of runs scored. Maybe a 8-6 ball game.
I like that. I'm into it. Telling it. I mean, you got to tell. He could say anything. It's like the Rays. You remember that famous tweet with the Rays trade? They're like, oh, I love that Rays trade.
Oh.
Who did they trade? And
doesn't matter.
Who are they getting? I love that Todd Father pick. What was the pick?
Yeah. Over.
Okay. Yeah.
Need it. I didn't even tail. I tail everybody's picks. I didn't even tail Cam's yesterday because he was, without trying, he was fading Todd. And I was like,
he was.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Like,
we talked to him about it last night.
We talked to him about it. He's a rookie. It's okay. That's what you do. You pull the rookies aside. You talk about that stuff.
Yeah, we went over it. Everything's better. We cleared it up. So what are you doing tonight?
I'm going Royals money line in the ilk of Todd. I'm not going like K's under, runs over.
Simple.
Todd looks at mine and he's like, "What are you doing, bro?"
Love it.
It's plus 105.
Get back to the
Royals
basics.
money line.
Yep.
Good team facing the Pirates. Ortiz has had a good year. Alex Marsh, but the last 7 starts for both of them, Marsh has had better 7 starts than Ortiz had. So I think the Royals are just a better team.
They are a better team. So that's almost, it's basically even money game for you. Mine was there, and then it kept creeping up by the time I hit it. But Arizona for minus 125. It was pretty much even money early. And then by the time I got to it and decided on it, I locked it in at 125. So you're like, Diamondbacks with Eduardo Rodriguez against Freddie Peralta and the Brewers, but Diamondbacks are playing good ball, and it is about the success for them against right-handed pitching, which I think they're 1 or 2 in the league lately with slugging percentage, the whole deal. Plus, it's the best offense in the league, like overall in the season too. So just don't sleep on that. And most of the big boys are back now. Gabriel Moreno's still out, but Walker's playing, Ketel Marte's playing, Corbin Carroll's better now than he was in the first half of the year. So I'll go Arizona in a game that they need much more than Milwaukee too. So 125 to win a hundo.
23 of the 26, I think, home runs that Peralta's given up were to righties.
There you go. So a lot of that kind of, and that's why you cross all of that together, and then you see the minus 125. While the Brewers have struggled against lefties. So anyway, it is the weekend, and that means you can bet for a shot at $50,000 in bonus bets. It's our MLB Grand Slam Jackpot weekly bet and get promotion that we like to participate in on the BetMGM app by placing a wager of at least $10 on any player to hit a home run on a day that is considered a weekend day, which would be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. If you get a grand slam from that player, then you can win the $50,000 daily prize or a share of the prize with every other winning bettor. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Top Father. I mean, I'm going to come into the office and let you know that today it was announced that MLB will put these sponsor logos on all of the helmets. We just broke the news to our buddy Grayson Rodriguez from the Orioles. My question for you is it a problem? Like, should people really care about this, or is this called business?
No, I think this is called business. I think this is an MLB thing. Make a little more cash, a little more cush on the side there. My only problem with this is we got to make sure they went through all the testing so it can withstand over 100 miles an hour fastball. If somebody does get hit, hopefully nobody does. So are they putting it on their helmets that they've been using? Okay. Or is it the whole helmet different? We got to just double back on that. So that's the only problem I got with it. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb, as we see, but
it's big.
You know, it's pretty big. But at the same
Picks up
time,
the whole helmet.
money is coming in, and I want that catch.
This is what I'm bringing to the problem here. Todd, how much of this money do you think players are getting?
None. And that's the other problem.
And they'll spend it in the offseason, though. Every team spends a lot.
But that's what I was going to say. Are we going to see teams? Is a team going to come out and be like, "Yeah, we were in on the Soto deal because of all that extra helmet logo money"? Oh wait, no. We weren't in on Soto because our stuff is, struggling in this department or that department. But Strauss slaps a sticker on your helmet.
Yep.
Okay, well let's spend it. What are we getting? What are we getting? We getting some new L screens?
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. Players
for some
get
teams it
screwed out
is.
Again.
Yeah. For some teams
that's
it is.
That's why this one's called business.
Yeah. The only thing you have to do, though, for you guys, right, for the player side, is you got to think, okay, if the league makes more money and the sport makes more money, hopefully they'll figure out that the marketplace will increase based on the teams that do care. That's what you got to think.
Yeah.
But otherwise, for me, I know some people on social, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're doing this. Like, relax. There's logos all over the place. It's fine. I don't think it's a big deal.
I like it.
If you don't like it, then
you
can. Why don't you pay for a sponsorship? If there's some fan out there, go get a petition together. Everybody contribute enough to outdo the sponsorship, so you can have it be blank.
I'll put them on a pant leg.
We could put the problem on the side.
Let's put foul territory on a pant leg for all of our Bally's teams.
Kentucky Derby.
For all our Bally's teams.
I want foul territory on those fake buckets that Grayson Rodriguez is talking about.
Let's just put it
empty buckets.
Put it right on the pole that separates in play and the dugout, because it's literally foul territory.
True. I get what you're saying. Yeah. All right, we'll work on it.
Let's get it done.
We'll place a few phone calls and see how many millions we need to shell out for that. Okay.
Many monies.
Yes. All right, we're swinging back to slap hands and do all that. We got a little extra time, so we'll do some Q&A too when we come back on FT for a big finish, and we'll look ahead at next week as well. What's up, FT fam? Looking through questions here right now to see if you have any. We're going to have a little extended time. I've been like a little bit more separated from the chat in YouTube over the past week. Most of it just had to do with recovering from some food poisoning. But
that guy was green.
Yeah.
You were actually borderline gray.
Green? Or what? I thought I was just matching that white backdrop or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you had a hue. You had a hue that we weren't appreciating.
No.
But you grinded it out.
Yeah, and it was a quick bounce back too.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a quick bounce back. I like how Lana Rizzo took over mid-show and just popped up and like, we're here. What's up?
I mean, credit to everybody behind the scenes. When you go down,
she's got that one phone where like she picks it up.
The bat phone.
Braun puked again. All right, I'm coming.
The symbol, the foul territory symbol, went in the sky.
Yeah,
calling all hosts.
Yeah,
Alana was like, "Well, actually, I was just practicing right in front of the camera. So this is tremendous."
She's a pro. She's such a pro. But anyway, we'll come back in a minute. We'll do slap hands, the whole deal, coming up in just a second on FT. FoulTerritoryShop.com has T-shirts with our logo on it, hats, multiple varieties with our logo on it, as well as stickers, coffee mugs, wristbands. I'm wearing one all the time. Polos. Yours looks great today. So go get after it. FoulTerritoryShop.com. All right, let's slap. I got quite a few messages from fans asking us to please just run through CB Bucknor's recent performance. And we're not going to do a whole show out of it, but we'll do a couple minutes on it so we can look at some calls here. Todd, can you see those? Because CB couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? How's it looking?
It's not good at all. What is he ranked? 90th out of 90th? 90 out of 90th. Am I even saying that right?
No, you got it. It's not 90th percentile. It's 90th out of 90. So
out of 90 umpires on calling pitches. And what is it? It's the correct call rate this season. 90th. And there's only 90 of them. And he got how many 17 missed calls yesterday. Come on, man. Uncle.
So is CB the new Angel Hernandez?
He's been there.
He's been there.
He's always been ranking under Angel.
He's been worse than him on a consistency basis. Angel sometimes will have those ridiculous calls.
Angel just got that moniker. Everybody knew Angel. Fans, for some reason, it really, I don't know what game it was, who it was that said it in the media. Everybody knew, Angel Hernandez. Anytime there's a borderline call. CB's been this the whole time. What do you think CB stands for? Todd knows.
There's a lot of names for CB. It's just, and when you argue with him, he's like, okay, all right.
He just gives you nothing.
It feels spiteful. I'm gonna go out of line, and maybe I'm out of line saying this. It feels spiteful when I watch this.
Not at all.
The other game that Gary was catching, Gary showed him up. Gary showed him up because he missed a call. Missed so many other pitches for Gary when Gary was hitting. Now, right at the end of that game, Like he called 2 really bad pitches against Gary, and then Gary took 2 strike threes for ball 3 and 4 to walk. So it just feels like I just don't think he's good enough. Oh, called balls.
Kratzy,
Called balls. That's the name, right?
I got a stat here.
One of the nicer ones.
I got a stat that says he's missed 351 calls this year, dude. Come on. That's you put that together, that's what, 3 games? 4 games?
351 calls? Called?
Yeah,
but
he's
called
missed.
pitches. You're missing the fact that like there's balls put in play. So there's not normal. There's normally around 80-some, 70-some called pitches per game because of balls that are put in play. So you're talking an entire game, not just one side of the game. He's missed it. Like, how can we not have some type of repercussion or like
Because
need for improvement?
It's a union thing. They got to negotiate that, but they do have to negotiate that at some point. If they're going to keep calling balls and strikes, right? Even if we're going to the challenge system, that'll definitely fix some things up. But challenge system's not going to fix CB Bucknor. It's not, because unless you're just tapping your head every other pitch, then we're going to have a pace of play problem again.
No, they do it quick. It goes quick.
Yeah, but if you do it, so for example, let's say the challenge system ends up being you get 3 to use per game, but you only burn them if you lose on them, right?
Yep.
And most teams and players are better at identifying the strike zone than he is at this point. It's just a fact. He's worst in the biz right now. Okay, so let's say he has 15 missed calls in a game. You could have 15 scenarios where someone's doing this and then they're right, and then you get another one, and it's like, that's a lot. I don't think that's where we're going with this. It'll be cool to see it maybe 5 to 7 times in a game. But for a game like him, I mean, he's just going to be handing him back.
Nobody wants
but that's
nobody
good.
wants to.
That's good.
You're right.
Though.
It's
Then
good.
it's
It'll clean up the problem a little bit, hopefully.
This is embarrassing. I would be embarrassed. Some of these umpires, they don't care. They don't care at all, man. So
it could be a good learning tool. You know, it could be a good teaching tool, Todd, for someone like him.
I hope they're embarrassed.
Because for you guys, when you guys argue with an umpire, you can't see it right away, like in his face, and go, "Hey, here it is," whatever. Now you're going to be able to be like, "Yep, he was wrong. Okay, he was wrong," and then be like, "You're wrong. Okay, I'm stepping back in."
Somebody's going to get thrown out when they do that.
It's going to be so good. That's why I'm so pumped for it. This is the next great part of our game.
There's umpires that people have a predisposed idea that they're not good.
Mm-hmm.
You go into a game, you know, CB Bucknor's not good. He's consistently been a top 5 worst. So bottom 5 worst umpires in the game. And somebody's going to be like, nope, check it. Shocker, CB. Shocker, you missed that. Next one. Nope, check it. And then CB's going to be right and the player's going to be wrong. And CB's going to say something, and then they're going to chirp at each other. It's just, it'll be exciting.
It's going to be so cool.
It'll be exciting.
It is. Some people in the chat are trying to throw out names to see who else is in that category these days. Doug Eddings and Hunter Wendelstadt and Laz Diaz names are thrown out there. I mean, you guys know these guys.
I mean, you can look at the stats. Yeah.
2 out of those 3. I don't know about the other one, but 2 out of those 3 have been known.
Larry's had a bad year. Larry Vanover's had a bad year this year. I know that.
Bob Davison, someone threw out there.
Balkan Bob's not even there anymore.
He's not there anymore.
He wasn't a bad.
I don't know all the dudes' names.
He wasn't even a bad.
He wasn't bad.
Ball strike umpire.
Oh, he was the balk man.
He was. Yeah, he just loved calling a balk. Anything that confused him was a balk. But like one of my favorite umpires was Teddy Barrett, and he would consistently miss a lot of calls.
Yeah.
But how he handled it was way different than everybody else.
Yeah, I think we're past that though now. Like, I think we need to see the right calls. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And so if it's coming in 2 years, give the umpires times.
Yeah.
Give the umpires time to, hey, you know what? This is your year. And maybe some of them just want the challenge system.
Like maybe you retire now?
Yeah. You get retired.
Little severance package and great job. Thanks for playing.
A year into the sunset.
Yeah. I still don't understand, because this will come up, I guarantee it, in a couple weeks, Todd Father, why we don't just reward? We're having problems with demoting, relegating, whatever. But how about rewarding? We reward, but not that much, right? Like, let's find out, or we know who the best 5 game callers are behind the plate, and let's just work them and pay them more in October so that it doesn't embarrass us.
They get bonuses.
Right, but let's have them behind the plate. I don't need a rotation and all that. I know it's tiring to call the game behind the plate, but like, you could do it. It's October, and then it's over. Then the season's over. You get the whole winter off. Like, let's get the best guys behind the plate in October.
Love that. Least amount of challenge calls in the field. You get to do the field. Doesn't matter if you maybe just have 5 game series, have 5 home plate umpires. They don't even have to go work in the field.
Yep.
Like, this is your reward. Like an all-star game for umpires.
Exactly. I want the talent there.
It'll be all young guys. That's the issue.
Fine.
It'd be all guys that are hungry and want it.
Okay.
And it'll make other people hungry and want it.
Yeah. Sounds a lot like sports sometimes too.
Oh, that?
Some of the young guys stealing jobs.
Oh.
Sorry. Who's your boo? Who's the guy that we've been pointing out who like is getting 99% on his calls and all that?
Recently?
Yeah, isn't there one guy who's come up a couple times?
Pat Hoberger was, but
yeah,
he's
another guy.
He's on leave right now.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a different story. I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. But yeah, you don't remember him? I don't remember. There was one guy we've shown him a couple times.
Quinn Wilcott had a great game the other day.
Yeah,
he had two misses, and they were both at the exact same spot. I was like, hey, you know what? It's pro.
Yeah, it's pro. Here, you show that while I say thank you for everyone for hosting
big
us.
Series.
Ooh,
big
yeah.
series. Big series. We didn't talk about it. Mets, huge series for them. All eyes should be on Phillies Mets.
If only we had Phillies and Mets shows. Oh, we do. So you can check both of those out, the Phillies show and the new Mets Up show that we announced, which has been in existence but now part of the FT network. So congrats to those guys. Yep. And thank you so much to Borgata for hosting us, BetMGM Poker. Good luck to Dellin Betances today playing for the big money.
Victory.